Hi, my most excellent students. We're ready for a field trip. This should be fun. If everybody can be pretty close to right at 5 o'clock, it should maximize our benefit and allow us to sooner get home. We're going to plan on meeting on the east side parking lot, right as close as possible to 5 o'clock. We'll probably consider you having missed the field trip if you're more than 15 minutes late. You may have to try and catch us out at Hart Park. What we're going to do is we're going to meet in the east side of Laverne parking lot over there, the carpool parking lot. Then we'll carpool as many people as we can in tandem out to Hart Park. For the most part, it's just an easy drive. We take the 178 till it hits Fairfax, and we take Fairfax down to Alfred Harold Highway to the north, and then we take Alfred Harold Highway further to the east until we get to the opening gates at Hart Park. As we go through the gates at Hart Park, there's a circle that brings you around right next to the entrance where you can return back to the park. The other side of the gate is leaving Hart Park. As we go past that early point, there's the first body of water we'll see will be the casting pond, which is a place where people cast and practice fishing. Sometimes they'll get a little bit of crappie. Usually it's pretty muck infested. It's usually got lots of the green fern growing on the top of it. Elodea is a common kind of water plant that grows in there. Every once in a while you can find freshwater seleniterate called hydra on the leaves of the elodea, and then little copiopods, little crustaceans that get eaten by the hydra and fall into their sac guts. These are all microscopic and very hard to see with the materials we'll have there with us Monday. That's going to be our first stop. We're going to look around, we're going to analyze, we're going to see what's growing along the edge, we're going to see what's growing invisibly off from the shore. This is a still water experience. It's right there on the beginning of the park. It'll be easy to see. There's lawn leading up to it, so it'll be convenient. I do recommend that if you want to get into things like a little kid, bring galoshes or, like leg waders or old tennis shoes that you don't mind getting wet, soggy, that sort of thing, and a grocery bag so you can throw them in so you don't spoil your car or somebody else's. That's going to be our first step. We're going to do a 4-part survey. We're going to check for all the different kinds of biota we can identify at the casting pond. Then we're going to approach the grassy area between the road and going down towards the river. There's a grassy area. It's used very commonly by people. There's a lot of places where people barbecue and have picnics, and there's tables and even a couple of fire pits where people can barbecue things in the fire pits. We'll take a look at what kind of biota we see there. Biota being both animal and plant and fungal and any other form that we see. We'll take a look at them in as many different perspectives as we find available to us. We'll do a little identifying, we'll do a little keying. I've got some books that we'll be taking to help identify and key. Then we'll take the approach to the Kern River, which is supposedly going to be swift water. Some of our last experiences have shown part of it to be backwater, part of it to be swift water, and part of it to be no greatly different than the slow water or still water of the casting pond. As we approach, that would be Region 3. Region 2 was the grassy area. Region 3, the grassy area on the knoll, right? Right, Ryan? Okay. Anyhow, Area 3 is going to be the sloping down to the river area, and then Area 4 is going to be the river itself, as well as the immediate adjacent banks of the river. And so what we're going to do with that is take a look at those. Now, first we're going to go by the casting pond. We'll probably park shortly after getting in there. Then as soon as we get beyond the casting pond, there's a road that we turn off to the north or the left and head up to the far northmost road through Hart Park. As we go through there, we'll go a short distance straight across from the Donut Lake, where they used to have rowboats and paddle boats and that sort of thing. They even had a little food shack that they used to serve foods with there. They no longer have that there, but it is a registered lake, and if you're licensed with your boat in California, then you can go ahead and take your rowboat or your canoe or whatever, and you can use it in there if you have the ability to get it there. There's a landing on the south side of the lake that's made so that you're supposed to be able to land your boats, rowboats and so forth, over on that side of the lake. It has a little island in the middle, and that for years was fun for us to go to when we were high school age people. And if you ever do take a rowboat there, or even one of the little inflatable raft-like things, you can probably go over there. I'm not necessarily recommending it. That lake has had a lot of people excreting in it over the recent years. They seem to have forgotten that that's third world country to excrete in your waterways and then go swimming in them. And they do that anyway, so I'm not recommending necessarily swimming in that lake anymore. We knew better when I was in high school. People had told us better than that in high school, Boy Scouts and so forth, but it doesn't seem to be common knowledge anymore. What seemed like common knowledge is not so common anymore. So anyway, so if we go down the embankment towards the river, we're going to look at what kind of vegetation we see there, what kind of biota we see there. Pay attention, and you may actually see it's a lacewing-like critter when it's an adult, you know, the ones that you hit and they smell like mothballs. But if you see it as a larval form, it's called an antlion, and they're these little cones in the dirt where they stay down in there, the ants fall in, they can't escape, and the antlions with their great big mouth pinchers can crush the ants and consume them. So I always loved the little antlion funnels. And so those you'll find a great deal of, as long as with some vegetation and a lot of the trees that are able to get their tap roots down into the water that percolates down through the dirt and goes at kind of a triangle below the river. Then the last thing will be the river. There's some slower and faster moving areas just probably 100 yards from where we leave the junction of the road from the casting pond. And we'll go down to the river there. We'll have the transitional area, and then we'll have the road. So the four areas are going to be casting pond. They're going to be the flat area that's recreational area. There will be the tapered area that goes towards the river, and the river itself. So those are the four areas. If you don't happen to make the field trip, the form is already loaded on there. It's in the discussion board. You can print it up from the discussion board. I have it in a PDF, just as I also have it in a copyable form that you can put into your discussion board. So if you happen to miss the field trip, take the form. You won't have as much information. You won't have a guide. You won't have people keying out different critters along the way. But it's a way to somewhat recover lost points and lost fun. I guarantee you're going to enjoy doing this because it'll make you an expert for other people that have not done this before. Kids, brothers, sisters, nephews, aunts, grandchildren, I don't care. It's always fun to go to Hart Park and be able to know a little bit about something that's there, and it's a greatly rich environment for finding such things. We'll go down, we'll test the river. Again, I recommend, if you feel like it, bring waders, or just like calf waders, or tennis shoes, old tennis shoes that you were thinking about throwing away. You don't need socks on them, you just put them on, and then there's something easy to throw into a grocery bag. I'll bring along some nets. I'll bring along some key books. We'll bring along a couple of dissecting scopes, and then that way you'll be able to take a look at things in several different perspectives and identify certain things and see some of the wonder that we have here. Hart Park has been a wonderful treasure for us to have in Kern County. It's a great resource. It's a good thing. What does it cost you to get in? It's free to get in, and you'll be able to share it with family and friends and visitors. We are truly blessed. Whoever planned for us to keep Hart Park as part of our free use area in the Kern River was absolutely brilliant. And so come with us on the field trip and enjoy this. Glad to have you all on board, and I look forward to a wonderful time. We'll see how light we can make it after the lab for our lecture. Let's see if we can get home early tonight. Thank you very much. See you there.